today is what organizers are calling the Walk for Reconciliation. Now, the 5-kilometer walk is to honor all the children who went through residential schools. There is an estimated 150,000 First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children who went through residential schools dating back to the 1870s. And of course, the last residential school in Canada closed in 1996. Now, it's no secret there have been stories of widespread abuse at these schools, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And that abuse has had long intergenerational impacts that have affected communities across the country. Now, of course, the federal government apologized for what happened at residential schools back in 2008. And then the Truth and Reconciliation Commission began hearing from residential school survivors and gathering their testimony at events across the country since 2009. So all of that work comes to a head this week when the final recommendations will be released, and of course many other events planned this week in Ottawa.
Well, right in Ottawa, the Commission will release its report on Tuesday. John Kerry has been released from hospital in Geneva. The U.S. Secretary of State was flown there after breaking his leg while bicycling in the French Alps earlier in the day. He broke his femur when he crashed after hitting a curb. Kerry has canceled planned visits to Madrid and Paris and is returning to the U.S. for treatment. He had been in Europe in part for talks over Iran's nuclear program. A rocket attack on a school in Afghanistan has killed a teacher and 2 students. It happened in Logar in the east of the country. 4 others were injured. No one has yet claimed responsibility. Violence has intensified with the withdrawal of foreign troops, and it's taking a higher toll among civilians. Thousands of schools damaged in Nepal's earthquake in April have started reopening. More than 25,000 classrooms across the country were destroyed by the quake. Joanna Jolly.
Families across the earthquake-affected areas of Nepal are looking forward to this day when their children can begin to return to a normal routine. Many of the schools destroyed or damaged during the quake have been replaced by temporary structures made from bamboo, wood and tarpaulin. The government has said instead of formal lessons, children will be encouraged to participate in visual activities to help them recover psychologically from the trauma of the disaster. More than 8,000 people died during the quake, and hundreds of thousands were left homeless.
That's the BBC's Joanna Jolly in Nepal. Australia's opposition Labour Party is planning to introduce a bill in Parliament tomorrow to legalise same-sex marriage. While it's unclear if there is enough support for the bill, advocates believe gay marriage will soon become a reality in Australia. Phil Mercer reports from Sydney.
Slowly but surely, Australia appears ready to join its Commonwealth cousins in Canada, Britain and New Zealand in legalising same-sex marriage. On Monday, a marriage equality bill will be introduced to Parliament. It's sponsored by the opposition Labour Party, which says that surveys show almost 3/4 of Australians support the reform. Labour's bill would need the support of some government MPs if it's to succeed, but Australia's Conservative Prime Minister Tony Abbott, who's opposed to gay marriage, won't at this stage allow them a free vote. Mr Abbott, a staunch Catholic, is though well aware of community support for reform. He has suggested that he may allow members of his governing coalition a conscience vote on the issue. Campaigners believe the right for gays and lesbians to marry could come by the end of the year. Phil Mercer, CBC News.
And that is CBC News for this hour. A reminder that we broadcast live and podcast at our website, cbcnews.ca. That's in charge service.
Get to know Bach with Radio 2 Tempo host Julie Nesvala. Here's what Bach said about fellow musicians who were, in his estimation, musical dummies. Bach said, modesty forbids me to speak truthfully about their qualities and musical knowledge. Then there's Bach, classic. CBC Radio 2 Tempo. Tuesday morning at 9, 9:30